Today we're making drawer organizers. These are made from screen mesh and bias tape. So you can make them in various sizes and fit them inside your drawer. So I tried out two different types of fabric. This is the see-through mesh and this is the rubber one. They need to be quite rigid so that they can stand up and hold the shape. And you also need a lot of bias binding tape. And I will show you how to calculate the pieces at the end of the video so that you just have to cut two long pieces to make one box. Here I've cut out the base of the organizer and this piece here is the divider pieces, and this will be the four sides. So we'll work with the divider piece first. We will bias bind the long ends of the divider. So when you're sewing, nudge the mesh fabric into the bias tape because they tend to slip out quite easily. Next, we will measure out the divider pieces and cut them out. If you cut them out this way, it will save you a lot of time. You just have to bind one long piece in one go. Now we're going to bind the remaining sides. So leave about 3 centimeters as a leg of the divider. Make sure everything is tight. See? Here I'm cutting out the sides. So there will be 2 short sides and 2 long sides. This is the base of the organizer. I'm going to mark out where each divider will be. And they're about 4 centimeters apart. So I measure 6 centimeters and then I add 4 at 4 at 4 like that until I get 5 points. So it will look like this. And we will just align the ends of the divider onto the points so that on the side there will be like about 1 centimeter. And then you just pin them. And we'll twist the legs a bit and sew it down. So you don't have to use a sewing machine to do this part because you really have to fiddle with the legs and all. You can just use hand sewing and tack it down. Over here I am bias binding the sides onto the short ends. Excess. So I'm going to attach the sides to the bottom of the base. Here is angle this to one side, so that you can put this on top. The corner. I zigzagged them before I add the bias binding, and I left 1 centimeter unsewn on the top and the bottom because we need that space to sew up the sides. I need a lot of this. And now I'm going to bias bind the side of the organizer. And we do the same thing, we leave 1 centimeter unsewn on the top and bottom. Okay. So now we flip it to the side and we will mark out where the divider will land. And we're going to sew the top legs down and repeat that on the other side. Put on the other side. If you're working with the rubber mesh, the thicker one, this part you may have to hand sew it because it gets pretty bulky. And the last step is to sew the sides together. So the same thing, we're gonna zigzag it together first. When you reach the bottom, you just pinch them together like that and zigzag it down. So if you don't want any of the stitching showing, you should trim any excess off so that your bias binding will be able to cover it. So before we start, we're going to sew down the ends of the bias tape. And wrap it around the side. And I just snipped that part off. So you can, if you're afraid that it will fray, you can add some glue. So this is what it looks like. It does take a lot of time sewing up one, and I've seen them sewed rather cheaply online. But if you're interested in making custom sized ones yourself, here is how to figure out the pattern pieces. First, measure the inside of the drawer and note down the length, width, and depth. Next, figure out how wide the organizers will be, like how many organizers you want. I wanted 2 small ones to put in underwears and socks. So for simplicity, I make them the same width. That's 12 centimeters. The remaining space will be for a larger box. You see that we have already figured out the dimensions for the base of the box. From this measurement, we can calculate the sides. So the long sides will have the same length that is 28 centimeters, and a depth of 13 centimeters. The short sides will share the same measurement as the base, that's 12 centimeters, and the other side is the same as the depth, which is 13 centimeters. Don't fall asleep yet. For the dividers, I make them 2 centimeters shorter than the width of the base and 1 centimeter shorter than the depth. I figured that I need about 4 centimeters per slot so that each slot will fit about 3 regular panties or 3 pairs of socks or 2 pairs of those extra large spandex underwear. So that means I need about 5 dividers. You can cut out the dividers in one long strip. So you can either do a 50 by 12 or a 60 by 10 centimeters. It will give you the same thing. The sides of the box, they all share the 13 centimeter depth. So you can use that to your advantage and cut them all out in one single pattern piece. You can also combine the base and the divider pieces since they share the 12 centimeter width. Am I confusing you? Anyway, if you use like a grid paper and draw it out, you will get the picture. So there you have your 2 pieces of pattern to make a 5 slot box organizer. I hope this is helpful, and thanks for watching.